facility is underground. So it's a special kind of procurement and or how to replace the ACs. And that wasn't something that we were able to get within days or within weeks. It takes the process, and the process is pretty lengthy. That's something that our chief was not able to wait in order to accommodate our dispatchers and the community, because that's who our dispatchers are communicating with. Right. They're communicating with the callers who need the assistance, and to be able to provide them that, we need effective communication. That's something that wasn't happening, even exhausting putting in fans for air circulation.
And you got to consider also the equipment that was there in those conditions. It might impact the technology, the computers, the phone lines, with all that. But then moving those dispatchers to this location, just from Agayan Heights to Sinahanya, there were no delays with receiving 911 calls, incoming calls, perhaps between that transfer.
No, we did not come with any incident. Everything was a smooth transition. We do have portable radios. We are in communication with our 911. Prior to moving in here, we needed to ensure that the lines, first and foremost, were installed, and also that the computer lines were also installed prior to moving in. It was a smooth transition based on the information that I received from our IT and from our dispatchers here.
Yeah, Guam Homeland Security, the people up there were telling me just yesterday that they're still ongoing with trying to secure everything, the necessary steps that need to be put in place by GSA and all the other officials. So they still don't know who's going to be the contractor, how they're going to get these new AC units, and when. But for the meantime, at least our guys are in a more comfortable and conducive working environment throughout all of this.
Absolutely, Nick. First and foremost, we need to take care of our employees, and in order for us to do that, we also need to take care of the community. This was the best decision so far, again, temporarily, until we can figure out how we are going to handle our main hub there at Homeland Security.
Yeah, would you like to provide some reassurance, I guess, to our viewers here who are seeing the news, have been seeing this type of news dealings over at 911, but still assure them that their emergency calls are still taken in a timely manner and seriously?
Definitely. So our numbers are still the same. They haven't changed. We still communicate with Guam Fire Department utilizing their E911. E911 still has the capability of communicating with our officers. The numbers are still the same, which is 671-475-8615 through 7. Our precinct numbers are still the same. We have multiple lines to be able to accommodate the amount of calls at any given one time.
Okay, well, thank you for the update there with the Emergency 911 Center. Also, some positive news for the police department. You guys are getting more officers, or at least a new cycle going soon?
Yes, positive news for us. On the 24th, we are going to start our new cycle. That is our 13 police officer trainee cycle with the Guam Police Department on the 24th. I believe that's just around the corner. And some other great news, we also have our retirees who are currently going through their refresher course. Their official start date was this week, Monday. We would afford the opportunity for you to be able to speak with them, along with see how our police officer trainees is taking their first day.
Okay, well, Officer Sevilla, thank you so much for your time and for providing this information that the public needs to know when it comes to their safety and what's happening in their community. I know they really appreciate it after all the criminal activity that they continue to see. So good job to your officers for what they do.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having us.
All right, thank you. And of course, we'll give you a look inside the temporary Emergency Operations Center where the dispatchers are set up here temporarily again at the Central Precinct Command in Sinahanya. We'll bring it to you tonight on primetime. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Nick. Looking forward to seeing that update tonight on primetime. And now, moving to some local news with some national implications. The nation's highest court declining to review a case that could overturn a century's worth of precedent, giving people born in U.S. territories equal status in America. The political future now of territories is uncertain. Here's more.
It's really disappointing to have the court pass on what was really a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reconsider the court's racist decisions in the insular cases
Equally American helped file the case Fitzsimonu versus U.S., calling the court to recognize that those born in U.S. territories have a right to full U.S. citizenship. The Supreme Court declined to hear the case. He says it leaves some big questions.
Is whether the insular cases remain good law. And that's important to folks in Guam because it's unclear just how far Congress could go in denying rights to people who live in Guam and other U.S. territories.
He says the deck is stacked against residents of the territories, but the Supreme Court isn't the only path. He hopes the president and Congress step in.
We are citizens. It just depends on where you're at.
Northern Marianas delegate Gregorio Sablan shares his disappointment.
We'll have to maybe find another day to bring this up with the Supreme Court. It could be a long time. It could be anytime soon.
It's the story of our life. People who can't vote for the president who sends their families into wars.
I wasn't truly surprised by the fact that the Supreme Court made this decision.
Saipan lawmaker Sheila Babauta says it's time for a change.
Overturning the insular cases really, in my opinion, is one step to having this conversation on a broader scale so that we can talk about not being able to vote for president, that we don't have a vote in Congress, and we don't truly have control over our natural resources.
Former Congressman Dr. Robert Underwood says it's that systemic control that is a central issue.
The U.S. Congress treats us as property, as territory. We are chattel of the U.S. government. And the way to get out of that is for the U.S. government to create a system that allows us to make a free choice on our own.
He says the case the High Court denied is misplaced. He says it shouldn't be framed as individual issues, but the territory's political standing as a whole.
That court that ruled on the insular cases ruled separate but equal. In the case of the territories, they ruled separate and unequal.
Tomas Maglonia for KUAM News. The return of the visitor industry is not coming fast enough for many businesses who still require some financial life support in order to survive. Nestor Lecanto reports on a tourism summit held Tuesday where they laid out the numbers that back the need for more government assistance and collaboration.
The Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association and the Guam Tourism and Travel Association sponsored the forum to share their perspective on the state of the local visitor industry. GHRA President Mary Rhodes.
I think that it's really important that everybody understand why it looks busy, but it may not be generating the same kind of revenues we were hoping to have, because our leisure traveler really presents a total different mix of things, from their types of stays to their type of spend.
She quotes statistics that show an 83% decline in overall business since pre-pandemic 2019, which is actually 92% if you take out military business. For one, they're seeking a new local employer assistance program. But GITA President Melanie Mendiola, who also spoke at the forum, said the LEAP program served its purpose of keeping workers employed during the height of the pandemic. But as businesses rebound, most no longer qualify. Rhodes counters there's enough that will.
There are 113 companies that still would qualify, and that's about $36 million that if we were to roll out LEAP design today, where you still had more than 50% loss, it's still $36 million that could easily be guaranteed from GITA to give out to our private sector stakeholders.
GITA's Mendiola said she's willing to hear them out, but for now remains uncommitted. Meanwhile, GTTA Chairperson Jovina Lujan says they're also seeking stronger partnerships with government agencies such as GITA and GVB in order to raise the target for visitor arrivals by several 100,000.
This industry was built by the private sector, and that's where our confidence remains. Best ideas can be laid on the table to find meaningful solutions to leverage this million arrivals in 2023 that we are after.
Rhodes says while GVB has a budget this year of $18 million, the private sector collectively spends millions more on their own marketing. She says they need to combine efforts.
Really, as private sector stakeholder industry, we rather just work together and come up with that cohesive message through our collaboration and use that to help also market and promote Guam from the same type of branding.
For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
All right, thank you, Nestor. Information is being released about the price the Trump organization charged the Secret Service to stay at its own hotels. A new report says the former president and his family's protection details exorbitant rates, all taxpayer money.
Records shared by the House Oversight Committee showed Trump hotels and properties charged Secret Service agents 5 times the normal government rate for accommodations while protecting him. Expenses covered by the taxpayer. Committee member Jerry Connolly.
Here's a man who boasts of how wealthy he is, and yet he is nickeling and diming the Secret Service, providing protection to the First Family for everything they're worth. And I just think it ought to bother everybody.
In one case, the Secret Service was charged more than $1,100 for a room at the Trump International Hotel in D.C. for agents who were protecting Trump's son, Eric, well above the allowable $242 government rate. Committee documents also cited agent visits to Trump's Bedminster Golf Club and Mar-a-Lago and pointed to a public statement by Eric Trump in 2019 where he said the Secret Service stays at Trump's properties for free. But over 4 years, according to the committee, including for several months after Trump left office, the Secret Service made 669 payments to the Trump organization, totaling more than $1.4 million.
This wasn't, one thing that happened because of extraordinary circumstances. It was routine that Donald Trump and his companies would gouge the American taxpayers.
In a statement to CBS News, Eric Trump says services provided to the Secret Service were offered at cost, discounted, or for free. Meanwhile, the House committee says it is now seeking a list from the Secret Service of all of the agency's expenses at Trump properties. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Washington.
And we have another round of news bites for you. So much happening on island, so let's get to it. The Faculty Senate of the University of Guam is accepting nominations for its Medallion Award. The award is presented to a member of the Guam community who has made extraordinary contributions to the protection and promotion of academic freedom, institutional integrity, institutional and individual autonomy, and shared academic governance, the fundamental academic principles of the University of Guam. And congrats to SA Donovan Castro from Dededo, who completed 10 weeks of boot camp training at Great Lakes Naval Station Recruit Training Center. He's currently in a school to become an operations specialist in the United States Navy. And practical, locally relevant knowledge and resources for consumers, families, agricultural producers, and small businesses will be showcased at a first-time community festival next week called Xtoberfest, hosted by the Cooperative Extension Outreach Service and the Western Pacific Tropical Research Center at the University of Guam. The event will take place from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's Wednesday, October 26th, in the courtyard of the Agriculture and Life Sciences Building on the UOG campus. And tickets are now on sale for the Real Men Wear Pink, the Man Cave event, which is on October 27 at the Hyatt Regency Guam. Tickets are just $80 and is from 5:30 to 10 p.m. It is an opportunity to join the RMWP ambassadors and to raise funds and awareness about breast cancer. Tickets can be purchased by calling 477-9451 or any of the ambassadors. And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we want to honor our survivors and those we've lost to breast cancer. On Friday, October 21st, we are calling on the island, each and every one of you, to wear pink. Tag us on your photos to be featured on KUAM News HotSpot using the hashtag ThinkPinkGuam. Also share who you think pink for by heading to our social media pages and finding the Think Pink template. And coming up, we talk about the Path to Freedom program recently launched by WestCare Pacific Islands. You're watching the Hotspot. Don't go away.
Dance party.
Let's go.
When inspiration strikes, say yes
with the new Priority Unlimited credit card from First Hawaiian Bank. Wherever you shop, whatever you're shopping for, you can earn 2% cash back on everything you buy. From small stuff to big stuff to stuff you want. A card that rewards you for every purchase and helps you stay connected to everything that matters.
Today, I'm Kelina from Doc's Kitty College.
And I'm Kristen from Doc's Daycare and Preschool.
And we are so honored to be caring for the children of Guam. The Governor's Child Care programs help businesses like ours to really focus on the kids. These programs also help nonprofits and after-school programs and grandparents and so many families.
Visit www.guamchildcare.com to learn more about the Governor's Child Care programs. This ad is paid for with funds administered by DPHSS.
Pacific Points is more rewarding with friends. From now until December 31st, get 300 bonus points for every friend you refer that signs up and earns points. Both you and your friends will enjoy awesome rewards like free Shell fuel, rebates on your IT&E bills, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. Plus, earn more points to upgrade your membership tier and enjoy even more exclusive rewards. Learn more at PacificPoints.com or download the app. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
KUAM News presents The Interview, one-on-one with Nestor Lecanto, a Decision 2022 special to get through the issues, the platforms, and motivations of your candidates for governor. Nestor sits down for an in-depth discussion for voters to learn more before they head to the polls. It's an important conversation, giving each candidate the opportunity to explain why they are the best team to lead our island forward. Watch The Interview, one-on-one with Nestor Lecanto, broadcast premiere Monday, October 24th at 7 p.m. on TV8 and streaming on YouTube and Facebook.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Welcome back to KUAM News, the hotspot. Joining us in the Zoom room is Jason Salas, working from home today with our friends from West Care Pacific Islands with details to a new program aimed at assisting veterans.
Welcome back to the hotspot, everybody. Our friends at West Care Pacific Islands do so much wonderful work for so many segments of our community, and I have one such member here, Miss Sonia Tyron, who is overseeing a program which actually helps our beloved veterans, you know, the people that volunteered to serve in our United States Armed Forces, regardless of whichever branch they served in. Many of them now find themselves challenged to find stable work, have a place to sleep at night, you know, get a meal, and that is so, so tragic. But Sonia, you are really doing amazing work with that. So Hafaday, and welcome to the show.
Hafaday, Jason, good morning.
Good morning.
It is. So our program is called Path to Freedom. It is funded by the U.S. Department of Labor, Veterans Employment and Training Services. It's a program called Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program. And so what we do here is it's a 3-year grant. We started in July of 2022, and it'll last until June 2025. And the main goal of our program is to assist veterans in obtaining and maintaining meaningful employment. So it's not just work with the veteran, but work with employers and community partners to engage and help our veterans succeed, right? And success is defined in so many different ways. Right. And our program is individualized. So we provide an individualized employment plan. And what that means is it's tailored to our veterans by them. And, you know, we work with the veterans to get that employment, and then we continue to work with the employers and the veteran to ensure that they maintain that placement or job placement.
Sonia, what are some of the skills that your program provides for these veterans? Because I'm thinking, you know, these are a very special breed of people, because, you know, they're by the nature of the fact that they did serve, you know, self-discipline is you know, ingrained in them, and, you know, the ability to do the job until it's complete and everything like that. But then when you go from that vocation to maybe into the private sector, or to, you know, like a nonprofit and everything like that, it can be a completely different world.
That's the interesting part, right? So since I've started working with veterans, I have realized that the certifications that they get while in active duty or while serving doesn't carry over to the civilian life. And so what that means is they've had all this experience. If a job requires a certificate, they need that, right, in order to get that job. And so been in communication and we've started conversations. We've worked closely with Trades Academy, and they've mentioned that they would be able to help our veterans just receive the certification. They may not necessarily have to go through trainings if they've already had the experience. They would have to test it though. They have to take a test in order to get that certification. So those are some of the things. Of course, no one wants to go through trainings that they've already completed, right? And it's just making sure are able to be used in the civilian world.
Yeah, or you can say if like somebody was in the Army, just I'm being completely arbitrary, and they say, you know, they specialized in construction. They're like, we built really large facilities, you know, in a very, very short amount of time. So I know how to do this kind of work at scale and everything like that. You know, like I'm not necessarily like you said, like a certified inspector or the electrical stuff and everything. So that's where you guys come in.
Together with community partners, with our partners in the community, like Trades Academy or Pacific Human Resources, just working together with others in the community to get that certification that they need so that they can be employable.
Okay. Are you finding, Sonia, that the types of veterans that you're dealing with, because the other thing is, you know, we don't want to gloss over this, but you're specifically assisting veterans who now find themselves without a permanent place of residence. So homeless veterans, are these veterans kind of like on the older age range? Because, you know, like I know some vets, you know, that have served, you know, 2-3 years in the Navy, and they get out and, you know, like they're 21, 22, and they are absolutely veterans themselves as well. They absolutely have done that because they have served.
So we haven't started accepting applications for services. So we haven't provided services to any veterans. That'll happen. So we will start accepting applications next week, October 24th. Our office here is at Reflection Center in Agana. They could call us at 671-472-0218 or 9. And they could call extensions 100 or 112, or they could send an email if they're a service provider or a veteran themselves, or even an employer looking to hire veterans. They could email us at pathtofreedom@westcare.com. And
could someone maybe make a referral and say, like, either, you know, I have a cousin who, you know, just got out of the military and he's fallen on hard times, or I know someone is, like, you know, around my neighborhood, and, you know, would you guys be able to help them out?
Yes, and so that's part of it as well. Okay. If there comes a point someone knows of a veteran that may need our services, benefit from our services, they could call our office and we could possibly meet with the veterans out there.
Okay, can we talk about job placement for a minute, Sonia? Because it's one thing to skill somebody up and, you know, to get them qualified and give them, you know, the tools that they need to be productive and to be successful. But then also, like, sending them out, you know, into what can be a very unforgiving job market can be pretty scary too.
Yes, and so for job placement, what we do is with the case manager, our veterans will develop an individualized employment plan. And from there, based on their experience, their skills, their preferences, we would also be doing a employment interest program. So a career aptitude test, just based on their personality, their experiences, what they enjoy most. So that's one way we could figure out about placement. And then some vets know exactly what they want to do, and they would come in best to try and place them with employers. And like I said, we are looking, if we have employers out there that are looking to hire veterans for our office.
Yeah, I mean, veterans, I mean, they've gone through the training, they've taken the test, they've passed the test and everything like that. Like, I don't know an organization like on Guam that isn't proud to hire here. So what more help can we, the community, give you folks down at WestCare to continue to make this program help? Because I know, of course, you know, you get substantial support from the federal government to make this happen and everything like that. But this is a huge amount of work for you. I'm sure it's not just you, like, you know, doing all the work yourself.
And like I said, I guess it would just be if anyone knows of a veteran who needs our services or would benefit from our services, they could definitely come by or give us a call. We could reach out to them or they could call us directly. We're very accommodating. And so doing that, and then if you know of an employer, then send them our way. We really like to get our vets into the community and into employment. So any bit of help.
This is a fantastic program. So Sonia, a final word and everything like that. What does it mean for you to be able to contribute for Guam and to give back to the, to vets? And like you said, once the applications do start coming in and once you start providing that one-to-one personalized training and everything like that, you're uplifting someone who is very much deserving of that. So what does that mean to you?
Gosh, I just got goosebumps when you asked me that. I think there's no real words that could describe that, right? It's just giving back to someone who's made so many sacrifices by protecting us, even other countries, right? Just being able to just give them that little bit of hope, right? Give them some sort of support, make them believe in themselves, right? And it's just it's goal, I guess is the best way to describe.
Yeah, they possibly put themselves in harm's way and they had your back so that we can continue to live the lives that we have here as Guamanians. And so now you're essentially like paying it forward and you've got their back now when they probably need it most. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Okay, so real quick, Sonia, what are the numbers, once again, where people can reach WestCare Pacific Islands if they would like more information about this program?
So it is 472-671-472-18 or 9, extensions 100 or 112. And they could also send an email to pathtofreedom@westcare.com.
You got to remember that 671, everybody. Remember that. that's bit me in the butt a few times over the last year, but you get used to it. All right, that is Sonia Tyron. That is WestCare Pacific Islands, and that is the Path to Freedom program. Sonia Sidus Masi, and it's a wonderful thing that you guys are doing. We always enjoy interviewing our friends from WestCare because you guys are doing such wonderful work.
Sidus Masi, Jason, thank you for having me.
I always greatly enjoy interviewing a Malesso girl.
Malesso rules.
There you go. All right, Sonia, thank you. And we will be back with more show right after this.
All right, stay connected because still to come on the Hotspot, Voca Talks with Jesse Rosario.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
There's epic, then there's ultra epic. Capture life in vivid resolution with Galaxy's most advanced camera system and the built-in S Pen that puts you in control. Every moment, every angle, from sunrise to sundown and beyond. More striking, more stunning than ever. Find the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra at your nearest iTunes store or online at ite.net and change the way you work and play.
As the Decision 2022 race shapes up, keep it with KUAM News for all the news you need to know as you head to the polls. From weekly candidate profile analysis on the Hub on KUAM News Hotspot to our online candidate directory on KUAM.com, special features on KUAM Digital and KUAM News Primetime, plus live coverage of forums and debates. We're your one-stop source on every platform. Stay informed with KUAM News, your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Half a day. I'm Kalina from Doc's City College.
And I'm Kristen from Doc's Daycare and Preschool.
And we are so honored to be caring for the children of Guam. The governor's child care programs help businesses like ours to really focus on the kids. These programs also help nonprofits and after-school programs and grandparents and so many families.
Visit www.guamchildcare.com to learn more about the governor's child care programs. This ad is paid for with funds administered by DPHSS.
KUAM News presents The Interview, one-on-one with Nestor Lecanto, a Decision 2022 special to get through the issues, the platforms, and motivations of your candidates for governor. Nestor sits down for an in-depth discussion for voters to learn more before they head to the polls. It's an important conversation, giving each candidate the opportunity to explain why they are the best team to lead our island forward. Watch The Interview, one-on-one with Nestor Lecanto, broadcast premiere Monday, October 24th at 7 p.m. on TV8 and streaming on YouTube and Facebook.
Dance party.
Let's go.
When inspiration strikes, say yes with the new Priority Unlimited credit card from First Hawaiian Bank. Wherever you shop, whatever you're shopping for, you can earn 2% cash back on everything you buy. From small stuff to big stuff to stuff you want. A card that rewards you for every purchase and helps you stay connected to everything that matters.
Pacific Points is more rewarding with friends. From now until December 31st, get 300 bonus points for every friend you refer that signs up and earns points. Both you and your friends will enjoy awesome rewards like free shelf fuel, rebates on your IT&E bills, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. Plus, earn more points to upgrade your membership tier and enjoy even more exclusive rewards. Learn more at PacificPoints.com or download the app. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of the Hotspot. And you know, it's rainy outside, it's wet. You might find it easy to give in and give up when it comes to nutrition, especially on these comfy indoor days. But it's Wednesday, and that means it's not only just the middle of the week, it's also time for Balka Talks with Jesse Rosario. So let's check in with him at the Balka Box in Hagåtña and see what he'll be talking about today.
Hafaday, this is Jess Rosario from the Boca Box, and welcome back to the Hotspot. It is a gloomy and rainy Wednesday. It's the kind of weather that makes me just want to stay home, watch a movie, make some kadu, but you know, I got bills to pay, so I got to come into work, and I can't do that. But it brings me to the topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Whenever I do nutrition coaching and I start to talk about nutrition with people, a lot of times as nutrition professionals, we get so fixated on food and trying to get people to understand that this is a healthy way of eating and trying to work on diet with people and so forth, that we forget that there's another component to helping people understand how to live a healthier lifestyle. And that is dealing with the issue of our emotional and mental health and the connection it has with food. Now, I've had a up and down kind of a relationship with food, and I wanted to talk about that because our mood and our emotional state is connected to the foods that we eat. Just like today, right? I'm not depressed, but the weather makes me want to eat comfort food, and it makes me want to just be kind of lazy. Whereas if it was a sunny day, I'd be active and I'd want to go to the beach and I'd be like, let's go have something healthy to eat so that I look good or whatever it is, right? But that connection with food is both good and bad for us. And I wanted to talk about that. Because our connection with food is good in the sense where we want to live a healthier lifestyle, so we take the needed steps that we need to look at food in a good sense and start eating good things and nourishing our bodies the right way. But our connection with food can also be bad in the sense where we are not happy with the way that we look or the way that we feel. And so we automatically go on the internet and we start looking at fastest way to lose 10 pounds now. And then when we Google that, a whole bunch of diets come up. And those diets will typically tell you, okay, stay away from this, stay away from that. Don't eat carbs, don't eat sugar, don't eat cake, don't eat cookies. And what ends up happening is that we start looking at food as the enemy. Now, I always say that diets are a short-term fix to a lifelong problem. We're always going to have to look at food. We're always going to have to eat it every day. We're always going to have to make decisions on where are we going to eat? How are we going to eat? What foods am I going to eat? Right? But when we start to diet, the problem that I see is that diets are very, very restrictive. Like I said, it tells you not to eat certain things. And we get into a habit where we become scared to eat. And I see a lot of the customers that come in that have issues with just basically eating. They are so used to going on diets and being restrictive with themselves that they look at food as something that's going to make them overweight or make them fat, and they become scared of that. And I'm at fault for this too, right? It kind of puts us into kind of like mental abuse, or we get to the point of bullying ourselves. So for my experience, right, when I started getting into nutrition and started learning about food, I had this mentality that I had to look a certain way because I'm in the nutrition field and I needed to help people understand what health was. And I thought health was having six-pack abs, looking a certain way, and whatever. But what ended up happening was I had a negative relationship with food where every time I kind of slipped or I ate something bad, automatically I was like, oh, I need to go run or I need to work out because I need to make sure that my calories aren't high. And again, what that does is it puts us in a state where we're not very realistic about our approach to health and about our approach to nutrition. I've always felt that food needs to be enjoyed, and we have to be realistic about our approach to dieting and our approach to health. Basically, we just need to be balanced with that. And that's kind of what we do at the Boca Box, and trying to help people get on meal plans that kind of work around their lifestyle. But if you're the type of person that has been looking at diets and has been counting their calories every single day, or steps on a scale every single day and gets depressed because, oh, today I'm 1 pound heavier or I'm not losing any weight, then that's something we need to address, right? And I wanted to talk about a couple things that we could do within our lives that help us to overcome an unhealthy and emotional relationship with food, right? So for me, like when I was eating bad before, and it took me a long time to really get comfortable in my own skin and get comfortable with the food I was eating, to understand that it's a long process. Nothing's going to happen quick, right? But, sad to say, I had an eating disorder. I would throw up whenever I felt like I ate too much or whenever I knew that I ate something bad, right? And I had to really get over that and come to terms with how do I become healthy? Because that's not a healthy way to live. And it's also not healthy if you're skipping meals and thinking food's the enemy, and so you're scared of eating, because you honestly do more damage to your body than you are if you're not eating. So we need to be balanced about our approach to eating and making sure we eat. So I have 4 tips that you can do or you can incorporate into your lifestyle that will help you to overcome the unhealthy and the emotional relationship with food. The first thing is add, don't subtract. And what I mean about that is typically when you look at your food, right? You go to a party or you go out to eat, you're looking at your food and you basically have, let's say, rice and protein, and that's about it, right? And with a lot of the diets, they'll tell you don't eat this, don't eat that. But most of the time, that's not the issue. The issue is that you need to add more things to your plate to make it healthy. So if your plate is rice and meat, then of course you need to add in some sort of vegetable, which leads me to part B of add, don't subtract, which is add color, right? Rice is white, meat is brown, and if your plate is white and brown all the time, let's add some color to that. Let's throw in some vegetables. Let's throw in some sauteed broccoli or bell peppers or Brussels sprouts or whatever it is, or get a simple salad that adds onto your plate. Make your plate very, very colorful. So again, add, don't subtract, right? The second tip that I have is drink water. You'd be very, very surprised with how much water people drink in a day. A lot of the people that I help that come in and want to get on meal plans and want to get healthy, I ask them, how much water do you drink a day? And a lot of times it's less than 3 cups of water. And so you kind of figure, what else are they drinking? Well, there's juice, there's coffee, there's sodas, and other beverages. But your body needs water. I like to drink at least 8 cups of water every single day. You'd be surprised with what happens when your body is fully hydrated and you don't have all this sugar and all these additives and all this other stuff that comes from drinking empty calorie or empty nutrient beverages. So just drink water. I mean, water doesn't have nutrients in it, but it hydrates you, right? But just drink water throughout the day, at least 8 cups of water, right? So that was tip 2. The third tip was eat to fuel your day. Now, when we typically start to talk about fueling up, we tend to think that, oh, that's only for athletes or people that are very active. But you have a busy day too. We all have busy days. Even if I'm not working out, I have a busy day at work. I got to pick up the kids. I got to drop them to practice. I got to cook dinner. I got to do all this stuff. If we're not fueled properly for our day, our body's not going to have the energy it needs to take us through that day. And we're going to get very tired, and our body's going to pull nutrients from where it doesn't need, and it's going to store fat because it's in this fight or flight. But we need to be able to fuel our body every single day with good nutrition, right? The last tip that I have is recover and sleep. Recovery means that you need to sleep not only for muscle recovery, but also for hormonal balance, for mental health. And I would suggest you get at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep every single day. So remember, add, don't subtract. Drink lots of water, eat to fuel your day, and also sleep and recover. Those are things that you can do so that you overcome your unhealthy and emotional relationship with food. It's a daily struggle, but we're going to get there. If you have any questions, please see me at the Boca Box. We can discuss this more, or give us a call if you want to get on a meal plan. But until next week, I'll see you again. I hope you guys have a great day despite all the rain. Adios.
All right, thanks, Jess, for once again great nutritional knowledge. Make sure to check out the Boca Box located in Hagåtña. More of the Hotspot when we return. This year, we're expanding our Decision 2022 platform to include comprehensive coverage of the election in the Northern Marianas. Stay with KUAM News for candidate conversations on Pacific matters, interviews with the gubernatorial teams, coverage of debates and forums, and live coverage on the general election night. We're your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Did you know that you may be at increased risk of being diagnosed with breast cancer if you have a family history of cancer? Be proactive and learn your history to help reduce the risk and catch cancer at an early stage. These conversations may be difficult to have, but they're so important. So make the time to have a discussion with family. Encourage family members to respond in a way that's most comfortable for them. Be sensitive and be a good listener. Write down who's had cancer, the age they were diagnosed, and what type of cancer. While respecting privacy, share your potential increased risk with your doctor, and they can recommend testing and screening most suitable for you. This is just one step that you can take in helping you understand your risk for breast cancer, and it may lead to early detection.
Think Pink this October. This message is brought to you by the KUAM Care Force in partnership with Island Cancer Center and the American Cancer Society.
Stay on top of breaking news and the biggest stories of the day with NBC News Daily. Get in-depth reporting from across the country and around the world, tips to take care of your health and your wallet, and up-to-the-minute local news. NBC News Daily, weekdays on NBC.
KUAM News presents The Interview, one-on-one with Nestor Lecanto, a Decision 2022 special to get through the issues, the platforms, and motivations of your candidates for governor. Nestor sits down for an in-depth discussion for voters to learn more before they head to the polls. It's an important conversation, giving each candidate the opportunity to explain why they are the best team to lead our island forward. Watch The Interview, one-on-one with Nestor Lecanto, broadcast premiere Monday, October 24th at 7 p.m. on TV8 and streaming on YouTube and Facebook.
Yasunto gilingwahe ni Tataw Tano gi KUAM News Tomorrow News Update sa stream gi internet gi Isla Radio ni KUAM News YouTube na channel. Pati esti gidiuda din kinimitin mami para insisteni ilinalay lingwahita din kulturata para todo henerasyon siya. Inafatui Tomorrow News Update ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Howdy, I'm Nick Delgado with your Think Pink News Update. As October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we want to share some important facts with you In 2022, an estimated 287,500 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in women in the U.S., as well as 51,400 new cases of invasive breast cancer this year. An estimated 43,550 women will die from breast cancer in the U.S., although rare, men get breast cancer too. 1 in every 100 diagnoses are men. 1 in 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. On average, every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer in the U.S. Though the statistics are alarming, there are healthy lifestyle choices you can make to reduce your risk of a diagnosis. Maintain a healthy weight through balanced nutrition and regular physical activity. If you are a new mother and are able to, breastfeed your babies. Know how your breasts normally look and feel, do self-exams regularly, and talk to your doctors right away if you notice changes. Talk to your doctor if you have a higher risk, including a family history of cancer. Schedule mammograms regularly based on your doctor's recommendation for your age and risk factors. Let's all think pink this October and learn more about early detection and prevention of breast cancer.
Think Pink this October. This message is brought to you by the KUAM Care Force in partnership with Island Cancer Center and the American Cancer Society.
And now we bring you this global story as Russia is showing no signs of slowing its recent barrage of attacks on civilian targets in Ukraine, and Russian missiles are now taking aim at the nation's infrastructure. Skylar Henry has the latest from the White House.
Russia is targeting power and water supplies just ahead of Ukraine's brutal winter weather. Local officials say Russian missiles hit 2 power plants in Kyiv, killing at least 2 people. More than 50,000 residents lost electricity. Tuesday's strikes follow a barrage of drone attacks on civilian targets in numerous cities, some that had been relatively calm for months.
This is not something new for Russia as they continue to inflict damage on innocent civilians, on civilian infrastructure, as they have failed to achieve their strategic objectives along the front line.
Iran is supplying the suicide drones to Russia, and Ukraine's foreign minister is proposing cutting diplomatic ties with Iran.
The Biden administration is condemning the Iranian military sales and the latest Russian escalation, saying U.S. State and Defense Department officials are in touch with the Ukrainians daily on their needs.
But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is still asking for modern air defense systems. He says, quote, to reduce the capabilities of Russian terrorists to zero. There was some promising news. Russia and Ukraine completed a prisoner swap. 108 Ukrainian women, mostly soldiers, are now free.
Skylar Henry reporting for KUAM News.
And before we leave, we have our movie weekly trivia question. This pretty woman and former TV doctor played a divorced couple in the new rom-com Ticket to Paradise. Answer in the comments or send your answer to jason@kuam.com to qualify to win. We'll, of course, be on the lookout for your answers. And that's our show. Before we go, we do want to remind our viewers that because Friday is a special Think Pink edition of the Hotspot, the Hub with Nestor Lecanto will be tomorrow at the bottom of the hour. Joining Nestor will be former Governor Carl Gutierrez and Republican Party of Guam Chairman Juan Carlos Benitez. You don't want to miss it. It'll surely be an interesting conversation. Thanks so much again for joining us. Stay safe, stay dry, and we'll see you tonight on